Hello, witches. Grab your fedora, grab a cocktail, grab a cigarette, because it is time for the Witches Movie Coven. Yes, indeed, the Witches Movie Coven is here, right now on a Wednesday evening. My name is Patti Negri, and I am one of your hosts for the evening. But let me pass this on to my other fabulous and well-dressed co-host. Let's start with the dashing Richard-Lael.
Well, I'm Richard-Lael, see? It's the 40s, see? And Richard-Lael is one name. And in this one, I might as well tell you, I'm a dick. I'm a private dick. It's the 40s, we can say that.
Thank you very much. And the lovely, beautiful, most elegant Heather Greene.
I'm not following that up at all. I'm just going to talk normally. But I am Heather Greene, and I am the author of Lights, Camera, Witchcraft, a critical history of witchcraft and witches in American film and television that includes the 1940s. And I am also an author, and I'm also an editor at Llewellyn Worldwide, working with wonderful authors, as well as a journalist covering all things witchy and witchcraft and occult.
Thank you very much. And of course, almost Veronica Lake herself, the wonderful Jason Mankey.
I'm here. See, this is my latest book. This is High Priest, a biography of Raymond Buckland, a nice young chap that I got to write about. I just can't do it like Richard-Lael does. I tried, it just didn't work. Yeah, I write books. What do you want?
It's perfect. And Courtney is busy with other things this evening, but we have the wonderful regular special guest, Thumper Forge. Welcome, Thumper.
Hello, thank you. I am Thumper Forge. I cannot do a transatlantic accent, so I am from the future. And I am a writer for Llewellyn and for Patheos Pagan, and the author of the upcoming Chaos, Apple, Magic, and Discordian for the Postmodern Witch.
Beautiful.
Come on, you got to try. You got to give it a try. Give it all that American try.
I did have to do it in a play once. I don't know that I can call it back up.
You really can. Oh, and I keep forgetting that I had a book released this week too, Doll Craft, all about dolls and released this very week. So yes.
And you are quite the doll.
I am quite the doll. My dolls are there. My dolls are here. You're a doll, and you're a doll.
Because she's all dolled up tonight for the show. All dolled up.
So, this week's movie, could you guess? Get any kind of a hint about anything or the era or what it is? It is called Cast a Deadly Spell. Yes, indeed. Now, hopefully you all watched it. Quite the film. But just in case you didn't, Richard-Lael, do you have an unbiased synopsis of this fine theater piece?
I certainly do. I'm not going to carry that through. However,
sadness.
Right? So it is an alternative 1948 Los Angeles, an alternative 1948 where magic is normalcy, and those who do not practice witchcraft or divination of any form is considered the pariah. Well, this private dick, named Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft, is hired by a very wealthy man in Beverly Hills who wants to A, protect the purity of his 16-year-old daughter, and B, find a very rare book. This very rare book, of course, is bound in leather and trimmed in gold. This book is the Necronomicon. Yes, that Necronomicon, the one from the guy with the chainsaw, the zombie film, that Necronomicon. Anyway, this guy gets double-crossed, and he finds out that all the money that was gifted to him, or that he stole rather, was nothing but paper. It was just paper. And so the other guy comes in using witchcraft, and that guy dies by the death of 1,000 paper cuts. Quite literally, and he dies in the most beautiful fashion that one could possibly die in a 1940s era film, in the bathroom, of course. So as it goes through, this detective ends up by rekindling an old flame with a singer, and meanwhile this young virginal girl is somehow sneaking out of the house and doing all kinds of things, but always intrigued by these police officers, these dicks that run around all over the police. As it turns out, plot twist, her daddy was the one who had wanted the Necronomicon. This fella, he wanted the Necronomicon so that he could sacrifice his virginal daughter to Cthulhu, and then, of course, be ruler of the world for a millennia or something. Meanwhile, Cthulhu is raised, and he goes to sacrifice the virgin, and we find out that this virgin is rejected for reasons. And then at the end of the film, we find out that the reason she was rejected for reasons is that the cop that she was sort of spending time with at the station, the married man, he deflowered her. To put it politely, he deflowered her. Oh, by the way, there's this whole side plot about a transgender cross-dressing gay couple. His boyfriend got murdered with paper cuts or something. I don't know. I was kind of half paying attention, but I got the gist of it. And at the end, the guy says, well, you're not going to tell my wife. And I mean, she's 16. I mean, I don't want anyone to find out. And of course, it's supposed to be the 40s. And he says, find out just because you were married? No, they're gonna erect a statue to you because you saved the world. And then, of course, the landlord comes back, and she was going to go to Florida, but she didn't. She practices some sort of voodoo. You know this because she's a woman of color. 1991, the 40s. The end of credits. That's it, I think.
Thank you for that very rich and detailed synopsis this week of Cast a Deadly Spell. Now, maybe there is some more information. Maybe there's 5 more things that we need to do from our more academic member of the team, one and only Heather Greene.
Sure. I've got some interesting things. Let's just talk about this film a little bit. It's definitely from 1991. It was an HBO special, and I'm just going to put these guys over here because they're getting in my way.
Mine too. I have to set them.
I have to just kind of set them. You guys can look on over there as the audience. So here we go. Ready? 1991 film. It was an HBO original written for this movie. It budget was low, $6 million, but it was pretty popular when it was released. Its producer had worked with Roger Corman, which is kind of cool because if Roger Corman did a lot of kind of schlocky, low budget horror films and was kind of known for that, loved for that. So she had some experience with this style and this kind of film. Director was Martin Campbell, but I want to talk about the writer who wrote it, Thomas Doherty. He had written a bunch for TV and Hollywood, Judging Amy, Harvey, Pretty Liars, some stuff. But an interesting point about him is that his birthday is December 5th, just like his character H.P. Lovecraft, which they made a point of. So I thought he said, my birthday is December 5th, just like Walt Disney in the movie. I thought that was kind of interesting. The movie was popular enough that they made a follow-up in 1994. And that movie was called Witch Hunt, but H.P. Lovecraft was played by Dennis Hopper, not by Fred Ward. And it was released in 1994, and it was that one. The interesting part about that one is that it is all about, takes place in the 50s rather than the 40s, and it's all about the Red Scare. Why is that interesting? Because this movie is made in 1994 during the Satanic Panic. And so they link the Red Scare and that moral panic to what's going on at the time in the 90s with the Satanic Panic, which is something that you saw in, for example, The Crucible, a play that was eventually filmed and put out in 1996. So you kind of have an interesting take. The characters are similar. Some of the characters are the same. Some of the actors are different in that one. But there is a whole witch panic and a witch trial and everything in that one. So it's a very different film. So number 3, let's talk about the actors. I forgot to tell you, I forgot to give you the promo of what I'm talking about, but follow me with Fred Ward. Of course, the main guy, you know him. He died, and he died in 2022. He was in a ton of things, so very recognizable face.
He was in a ton of things, including he played Ward Beaver. Leave it to Beaver. Ward Beaver, right?
Ward Cleaver.
Ward Cleaver.
Cleaver, yeah. I don't have that on here, but
No, he didn't actually. I made that up.
I was going to say I didn't see that, but that's okay. He was in, however, Escape from Alcatraz, Tremors, Shortcuts, The Right Stuff, a movie called Dangerous Beauty, which I would love for us to look at here. It is a witch movie.
Movie?
Yeah, you figure it out. I don't know which movie. So he is in a lot of stuff, very recognizable. Of course, Julianne Moore. She is, first of all, if you have not seen her award-winning performance in Still Alice from 2014, you must go out right after the show and watch this movie. Still Alice is a brilliant performance on her part, is probably my favorite performance of hers. But you also know her from The Hunger Games, of course. She was in a ton of stuff before that. Crazy Stupid Love, Room Next Door is a more recent one. Just, she's been in a lot and around for a long time. David Warner, who passed in 2022. You might recognize him from Tron. If you've been around that long, the early Tron, 1982 Tron. He was in Titanic, in the original Omen. He was in Time Bandits, which we've done here. Just another very recognizable face that has been in a lot of stuff. Clancy Brown, who I think we have an image for. He was in a lot of bizarre things, is what when I was going over his thing. Starship Troopers, one of my favorites. He was in Shawshank Redemption and Highlander, John Wick 4, Cowboys and Indians. There we go. There they are. Just a lot of bizarre things. Obviously Dexter. And I also had Pet Sematary 2, a movie that probably should never have been made.
Lex Luthor in DC's animated universe. That is his iconic role.
There you go. A lot of bizarre stuff, but a lot of stuff. Many of the actors in this movie were in a ton of things, even if they're not as recognizable. Alexandra, the daughter, she's not quite as prolific. She was in Mask, Dead Poet Society, and a number of other things. I'd like to talk about Arnisha Walker, who plays Kropotkin, Hippolyte Kropotkin. The reason she's not in a ton of stuff, she was in Big Houses, Nurses, and a few things, but I wanted to bring her up because this is really the first movie, or one of the first movies, that offers a Black woman, a Black actress, the chance to play a witch in a much more positive role. It may not be perfect. There may be some stereotypes going on here, but prior to this, Black women were never offered roles doing magic of any sort that was positive whatsoever. They were used as props, or usually it was very negative and evil. So if they even appeared at all in witchcraft films. So this was sort of the beginning of the change for that. So it's important to point her out. And that character is played by a different actress in the second follow-up movie. So those are just some of the actresses and actors. There are a bunch of others. I want to move on, though, to film noir. Let's, of course, get a taste of some things that this movie is trying to do. It's really a tribute to Hollywood in many ways. You see references to Gremlins, references to Bradbury, references to Lon Chaney, references to Ghostbusters. You see references throughout, and they kind of do it on purpose. It's supposed to be fun, tongue-in-cheek. But the biggest reference to Hollywood is film noir, the style that they're trying to capture, that 1940s film style infection that was really popular during the early 40s specifically. There's Bogey and Bacall, absolutely two of the best. Some 1940s film noir movies you might have heard of: Sunset Boulevard. Double Indemnity is usually the first one people think of. The Big Sleep is a big one. There's absolutely fantastic Howard Hawks movie. You must see it. Another one similar to that is To Have and Have Not, another Bogey Bacall movie. Touch of Evil, that's Orson Welles, considered one of the best films out of Golden Era Hollywood. These are some of the ones. Maltese Falcon, there's a ton of them, and they're fantastic, and they're addictive. You watch one after the other, and they really, this film actually captures a lot of that very, very well. Pieces of it, the styling, the way they speak, there's a lot of good nods to that. Just as another point, during this period of time, there were a bunch of other movies that were kind of dancing around this time period and dancing around this style. It was sort of a little bit in vogue in some of those movies, which, hang on a second, I wrote them down somewhere. If I can't find them, then I will just, off the top of my head, you had Dick Tracy, which was in the late 80s. You had film noir Angel Heart, which we watched here, another one that captures it. You also had, I believe, Bugsy came out at this time. You had Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So you saw a small trend of interest in the 1940s and 1940s style and the film noir style during this period of time, late 80s and early 90s. The last piece, number 5, is talking about the occult and our Necronomicon. And I'm not embarrassed to say it. I have to look at the word actually to say it right every single time because somehow my mind does not want to say this word correctly. I am not a big H.P. Lovecraft person. I've not studied it and I've never cared to very much, but it is something that is extremely threads through occult lore in movies and stuff. We saw the book, of course, used in The Evil Dead, The Army of Darkness, Color Out of Space. It's mentioned in a lot of places as the ultimate book of evil. I think Jason said that a little bit earlier.
Evil.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a very fantastic thing. But witchcraft here is in the world. We saw pentagram. We saw astrology and pentacles. We heard them talk about Diana and doing a tribute to her, the goddess. And so you see this sort of worked in, but witchcraft here, you see more of the witchcraft without the monsters in the second movie. This one really ties it more the way the Buffy the Vampire did. Witchcraft is tied within a world that has monsters, zombies and gremlins and gargoyles, and there were vampires and I don't know what else was flying around in all kinds of places. So witchcraft is tied into all things kind of monstrous and occult, right out of sort of all kinds of movies, horror movies. So it's sort of, that's how it works here. In the second movie, you see more of the Salem witchcraft stuff. There's actually a class and all this kind of things. So that is all I have for you today. I'm going to let you guys speak now and tell me how much you love this movie.
Who wants to go first?
I'm happy to, because I love most of the movie. With the opening sequence of Hippolyte on the roof with the big pentagram on a windy night overlooking the city was just very beautifully shot. And I was like, that's my dream job, is like witch on a building in the middle of the night. This is brilliant. And the following scene where Tugwell, the little minion guy, assassinates Mickey, where Mickey is in a restroom hiding in a stall, and the way the magic was portrayed was visually kind of low key but very effective. Like, it was not a whole lot of bells and whistles, but he takes a handful of water, blows on it, and then basically throws fire into the stall, blowing Mickey out of it. And then the death of literally the death of 1,000 paper cuts was filmed very well. And with those two scenes, with the opening scene and that scene, I was just invested. And then things got a little schlocky for me. The vampires and the werewolves were just sort of like kind of tossed in here and there. Just to sort of remind everybody that this is a fantasy. And I didn't fully appreciate that. What I did really like, though, was at the opening credits, these words come up that just say, it was 1948. Everyone used magic. And it was just like, we're not going to explain anything. This is just how it is. And I really appreciated that. I liked that it wasn't like in a different world, not unlike our own, that it was just sort of straightforward. The Hippolyte character really jumped out at me because they did make her Jamaican, but she wasn't like the voodoo character. She was just a witch. And she was sort of an authority figure. She was his landlord. She was the one who got him out of trouble. When he was being interrogated by the cops, she showed up with the lawyer. So she was a very formidable figure and very much more in charge than a lot of the other characters. And I thought that was kind of different. It was a very refreshing progressive thing, even for 1991. The way the gay relationship was handled was kind of bizarre because there was a lot of homophobic language. There was, the moment of I'm going to prove you're a guy by punching you. But at the same time, nobody really batted an eye that there was a gay couple running around in the 40s. So there was despite the homophobia, there was the characters all displayed a level of acceptance that was kind of cool. But yeah, overall, I thought it was pretty great. I thought the writing was not perfect, but the dialogue was. I was going to be Courtney and have a list of quotes, and I got overwhelmed because I loved all of them so much.
Sweet. I'm just going to take the rest of the show off, and you can just start reading some quotes. Let's do it. Let's go.
I didn't write them down. I only have like two. I only have two stuck in my head.
Oh, man.
Go, Jason.
Oh, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but I did find the story kind of hard to follow, like why he went to certain places. Maybe I was too busy cleaning the house because Ari came back home from a 4-day trip and I lived like a bachelor for 4 days and needed to really do a lot of work around the house. But I thought the script could have been a lot sharper and the story a little bit easier to follow. I'll also say that is the oldest looking 16-year-old virgin I have ever seen in my life. And I watched Melrose Place. Like when they said she was 16, I was like, no way. She's got to be like a 24, 25-year-old, apparently not virgin or something. And it also felt to me sort of like maybe this was a pilot for a TV show. Like and it wasn't, but it felt like it could have been a pilot for a TV show. Because it was a cheap HBO movie. It wasn't like a real movie. It was a $6 million budgeted movie, and it showed that it was a $6 million budgeted movie in a few places. As Thumper said, the death by 1,000 paper cuts was pretty cool, but then you have and Rob, our producer, showed that thing earlier. Some guy in like a monster costume at the end of the film that was actually hilariously bad. There's that guy. Yeah. He did do a little dance though, which, I felt like they knew that this was going to look campy and just sort of went with it, which I did appreciate. Yeah. Yes. It was a little bit better looking than Buffy. I'll give it that.
I will say though that it is 1948 and everybody looked older in 1948 because everybody smoked.
Touché.
So she's 16, but she smokes. So, I'm willing to suspend my disbelief because it is 1948.
Santa put cigarettes in her stocking at the age of 8. She's been smoking for 8 years by then.
Even the actresses and actors in movies, if you watch them back in the 40s, you look at them in the way they dressed, because really teen culture didn't hit until the 50s. So back in the 40s, there was no teen culture and they really looked much older. Some of those actresses were like 16 and 17 and they looked like they were 30.
Yeah.
We were just looking at watching the birds and we're trying to guess Tippy's age in that. And I'm like, you have no idea how young she probably is. She looks so much older than she actually is.
Yeah, I look at my mom's yearbook, and she was from the 40s, and they all look old. And this is their senior pictures. They're sophomore, junior, senior pictures. The way they did their hair, the way they did everything, they all looked old. And she also drank. She didn't just smoke. She drank. She had her own little cocktail. Yeah.
She was drinking early too. That was one of the lines where you have the hard-boiled detective, and he's like, "Oh, it's too early for me," and she's knocking back bourbon.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you do when you're 16. Why is that a surprise?
One thing
that was breakfast. I don't even do that.
One thing I wasn't really sure about was when the character of Lily first appeared, who later turned out to be Larry. I wasn't sure if we were supposed to know that Lily was Larry, or if like they just hadn't discovered contouring yet. Because Lily had a very prominent chin and kind of masculine features, And then there was sort of the reveal where they rip Lily's wig off and they say, "Oh, you're really Larry." But like, was anyone supposed to be shocked by that reveal as the audience?
So I don't. I wouldn't think that they would be shocked by that reveal because it
Okay.
was pretty obvious from the beginning, at least to me. You know, like,
Yeah.
what? Okay, there's a
I
trans.
was surprised. There was an audible gasp in the room. The cats that I was watching the movie with also audibly gasped. And if you've never heard a cat gasp, it's something like incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it was clearly obvious. But I did like while they were walking through the train station or whatever, nobody batted an eye. Right?
Yeah.
Like it was just everybody was cool with it. I kind of like this world that they live in because everybody just didn't seem to care.
Yeah. The language was really harsh around it, but at the same
It
time,
was.
nobody was like judging the relationship itself. Everybody was they're like, "Oh, okay, Larry's Lily now. We're rolling with that."
Yeah, I went the same thing. It was like, ooh, homophobic, but again, having characters that were okay. That I love you, and that was all okay.
Yeah.
That was. I'm a big fan, like you, Heather, of the whole film noir thing. When I ran my production company and my mystery company, we did half of our shows because everybody loves it. Yeah, again, you walk in and the detective, and we would let months and years on end doing this. So I loved that all part of it. I'm going to start off word by part. I never liked, why do you have to kill unicorns? Can't you just like love on unicorns? Why do you really have to kill unicorns? Really bloody shirt chasing unicorn. This beautiful unicorn walks by. I understand you have to be 16 to see a unicorn. You have to be 16 to pet a unicorn. You don't have to be 60, or a virgin to kill a unicorn.
Just wait until we do Legend.
I can't. So again, I wanted to love it. I wanted to just I like funny. I like playing off all the different movies that they've played off. I love the noir. I love the patter. I love how ridiculous it was. It just wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. It just didn't fit together as good as I wanted it to. It just kept going, wait, like little glitches, like computer glitches. Like, wait, something was wrong there. But I still really liked it.
Two things. There were two glitches that caught me that I couldn't quite let go of. One of them was when Olivia's coming in from hunting and she had her quiver and she started to kind of drop it off her shoulder and the arrows were clearly like glued in or something because at one point it's kind of upside down. And I was like, oh, nobody caught that in post. And then the other one...
Magic arrows.
Okay, there you go. The other thing that really threw me off, though, and it was just sort of a blocking thing, was Lovecraft had gone to visit, to talk to Borden and was walking out of the office, and Tugwell went to close the door, and the door was not fully closed. Lovecraft was not quite around the corner, and Tugwell goes, "He knows about the book." And I was like, okay, we use our inside voice when we're giving away plot points. But it was little, those, like when you said glitches, for me, those were the little glitches. There were little things like that where I was like, oh, we could have just tightened that up a little bit.
Yeah. My biggest complaint, and it drove me crazy throughout the whole movie, and is Julianne Moore. And I do like her as an actress, and usually enjoy much of what she does, but I felt like she did not capture the 40s femme fatale at all. And yeah. I felt there was times where she was speaking and it felt like an 80s soap opera. Like she didn't capture the stiffness and the hardness that you find in the femme fatales of the 40s, the ones from the original movies, where Fred Ward did a fantastic job. And some of the language was there. She was repeating the words, but she was not capturing the style of speech. She didn't have it. And there was times I'm like, it wasn't there. And even the banter that they're supposed to have during that, Fred Ward was doing it. And some of the other characters were doing it. Fred Ward was really capturing it. I was very pleased with that. But then he talked to her and they'd have a scene. And it was like, Humphrey Bogart speaking to, Jack Wagner. from the 1980s. So if you guys don't know who Jack Wagner is, that's okay. General Hospital. But
I know.
anyway, so you guys didn't watch General Hospital in the 1980s, and it shows. So
Luke and Laura. Luke
there you
and
go,
Laura.
Jason. I knew you would back me up on that one.
Mhm. A national phenomenon.
Yeah,
It
watching
was a national phenomenon, but it really felt like she just wasn't capturing it, and I was sad because I
Yeah.
do like Julianne Moore, and I do love the way she was styled, her clothing and all that, but it was her delivery and the way she presented the character was not femme fatale enough for me.
there were moments of it. There were like
Eh,
she would almost kind of get there. It's sort of like when Nicole Kidman
eh,
is doing an American accent and then like slips into Australian for a second and then comes back. It was like she was almost doing it and then kind of falling apart.
it didn't work for me, and you know, the rest of it kind of was Buffy-esque. I could get past of it. It was light. It was an HBO movie. It wasn't, you know, an Oscar winner. It was fun enough, but for me, even, you know, having it in my book, it's not one that I remember. It didn't have a big impact on me, and I think it just is not powerful enough. But when I rewatched it, I did enjoy Fred Ward's performance, and some of the stuff that went on was really nice, and of course the Kropotkin thing. But Julianne Moore was disappointing. It really was. I was like, because I love that character from film noir. I love the femme fatale. I wrote pages and pages on it. I watched so many movies. I wanted to be the femme fatale. I'd walk around like that back in film school and be like, please make me Lauren Bacall, please. That's cool. Anyway, that was my take.
I agree wholeheartedly. She didn't have it. And there was something weird. I don't understand film or filming or anything like that. But all those close-ups of her singing, there was something, or close-ups of everybody, there was something wrong with their teeth or the lighting. I didn't know it was like I was paying way too much attention to, I'm doing it right now. I don't know what that was, but I didn't like it.
Well, that's another point, is when they did close-ups, first of all, she didn't sing in the right style, but when they did close-ups of her, she should have been washed with a filter.
Yeah.
All of the femme fatales were all with their close-ups always had a filter over them, to soften their look, and they'd always be like, you know, like this, and you'd have this filter. I'm waiting for my close-up, Mr. Bill. But she did not have that. So they kind of missed the right styling with her.
Yeah.
They had the right language. She used the right words and the right dialogue, but not the right character. There was just something missing from it.
Yeah. And maybe it was the look that made me think she almost had it.
Yeah. See, that looks 80s to me.
That looks very 80s. That is
Very 80s.
The
Heather, do you know if she sang those songs like in the movie? Was that actually her singing?
I don't know, but I think so.
Because I hate it like when an actress or an actor is also a pretty decent singer, because it's just not fair. Like, why do you have to do both? Like, save something for everybody else. That's why Laura Tempest Zakroff and I don't get along. I mean, she's a great writer. She's a belly dancer. She's an amazing artist. It's like, it's too much. I mean, I can barely talk, and other people can do like 9 things. It's just not. It's not right. I say it's not right.
I agree with you. I am right behind you on this one, Jason.
Hey, did Richard-Lael give his opinion
I
yet?
didn't yet.
You're sitting there so peacefully.
I know. I was waiting for my turn this
Your
time.
turn. Go.
I was going to say, you know what, Heather Greene, I didn't mind it.
Fair enough.
I didn't mind it, but it actually brought back some nostalgia to me. A few years ago, I did a seance with a group of people, and they didn't have anyone in particular they wanted to actually talk to. They just wanted somebody. They wanted to do something. So we're sitting there at the seance, and I said, is there someone here? Yes, there is. Who is here? And he spelled out JP. The woman to my right said, JP Morgan? I said, no, Jack Parsons. He lived down the street. Anyway, long story short, I said, who are you? Like, how do we know that it's you? And he said, CRJ9K. I said, I don't know what that is. I don't know. The guy said, well, couldn't it be a rocket engine or something? I don't know. I'm not a rocket scientist. So I said, who would you like to talk to? And he says, H.H. Holmes. And they were like, the serial killer? No. I played H.H. Holmes on TV twice. So maybe he wants to talk to me. Maybe so. He was my neighbor. So maybe we should. So I said, what would you like to tell me? He spells out BOOK, book. And I said, yeah. I get it. I'm supposed to write a book. I get it. So they leave. I find out, I Google CRJ 9000. It is, in fact, a jet propulsion engine, even though that one was after his death, but it was still a jet engine. And then I looked up H.H. Holmes, Jack Parsons book, and I came up with a 1940, gosh, I want to say it was 43 book, Rocket to the Morgue. And so this film reminded me a lot of that story. In the story, Rocket to the Morgue, Jack Parsons has a cameo, and H.H. Holmes was the author. Anthony Boucher, his pen name was H.H. Holmes. So coming back to that, but the funniest thing was that they worked for the Manana Society. They were futurists in the 40s. There it is, Rocket to the Morgue. They were these futurists, and they would say, oh my God, I've got a great idea for a book. And they would say, yeah, when are you going to write it? Manana? You're going to write that book, Manana? So I've been saying that for a few years. You're going to write that book tomorrow? You're going to write it tomorrow? Yeah, maybe. Anyway, so it kind of reminded me of that. And then there's a character. I know this is not the movie that we're discussing, but there's a character in the book that reminds me a little bit of, I just said his name earlier, from Murder
by Death?
Death. What was his name? Truman Capote.
Yeah,
that was what it was. Truman Capote. There's a fella in this book who repeats everything twice. He's like, heavens, detective, heavens. And he's married to this woman who's very voluptuous. She's very much the femme fatale. And the cousin says, well, aren't you afraid that cousin Hillary is going to leave you for another woman? And she goes, ha! I'd like to see anyone try. So it reminds me a little bit of that. There was some magic in the 40s. See, there's Truman Capote. There is some magic in the 40s for real. And there is something magical about film noir and the noir style. It is truly magical. So I on the fact that I sort of got a little kick out of all the little things this film was sort of pulling from, the inspirations. I kind of liked it. I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but it was, I enjoyed it. And that's that.
All right. Anybody else have anything they want to
I have two quick quotes.
Yes, go.
Because
yes,
I said, I tried to make a list, and then I just like, I'm just going to let them wash over me because I love language so much. One of them is from Hippolyte's speech at the beginning of the movie, where she's staring out over the city and she goes, mischief, mischief. And I was like, oh, I'm going to say that on TikTok from here on out. I loved that. And the one line, though, that really jumped out at me was the Detective Bradbury said it. And I just felt like it was a very universal statement. And he said, if this is the future, I'll take vanilla. And I just felt that in my soul.
I miss vanilla so much. Right? You don't want to live in interesting times. You want to live in vanilla times.
Yes.
They're sweet, but reliable. Right?
Yes.
It's always
no more
okay.
unprecedented, please. Just one scoop of vanilla and I'll be fine.
Yes.
Thank
no
you.
orange sorbet, please.
Two fabulous quotes. Anybody else have any quotes? No, we just have to talk quickly and keep going. There we go.
I think just to get back to just film noir, I just think if you enjoyed the quotes and you enjoyed the language of this film, you should definitely visit the original film noir film from the 1940s, because that was one of the most notable parts of it. Most enjoyable is listening to the banter and all the quotes. Casablanca is not really a film noir, but if you watch it, you will be amazed at how many quotes from that movie you actually probably say or hear on a weekly basis. And other ones, one of the most famous quotes from To Have or Have Not is, I think, He says, "You know how to whistle, don't you? You put your lips together and blow."
Blow.
That's one of the most famous quotes from that, and there's tons of them. So we definitely, if you enjoyed the banter, they captured it well. Go watch those old films; you'll love it.
Well, and there was a reason that they captured it, because the Hays Code had come out, and you could no longer actually come out and say something explicit, so they had to find a way around it. They had
And
to
they
say
did.
they had to skirt it, and sort of like Mae West. She's I can't remember what film it is, but she's seeing a psychic, and the psychic says, "I see a man," and she says, "Only one."
They were so good at working language to saying things, and there was more to it, the way they got around all of that. That's a whole nother conversation, because that's so fabulous. It's so fabulous how the filmmakers were able to use things like cigarettes and dancing and other types of B-roll to actually get around and the production code and the restrictions. But the language was so juicy and often much better than what we see today, because they had to rely so much on character interaction. They didn't have CGI. So much was character driven then. And it's just amazing. Anyway,
I have another personal story, if I may, which makes me laugh. Now it makes me laugh. Years ago, a friend of mine got me started reading tarot. I've always known things. I've always just felt things. But a friend of mine was gifted some cards, and he says, "Hey, you ought to have these." And I said, "Okay, thanks." And he said, No, I won't let you have them until you read them. I said, "But I don't understand." He says, "Nope, just read my cards. Shut up and read." So I did. And he went, "Wow, that was actually really good." Anyway, he got me into reading tarot. But I will tell you, the funniest thing was, when we first met, we went out for tea. It was just, we were going to go have tea. And we're sitting there in the restaurant, and he goes, "Oh, God, don't you ever turn off?" And I said, "I beg your pardon." He said, "It's just, you're like some 1940s Betty Davis film." And I bristled up and I said, "Well, in the morning when you brush your teeth, you don't have to brush mine." And he went,
Exactly.
I went, "Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. It is a little bit like that."
That's beautiful. Yeah, such a time. And you have to have a cigarette. We should have all had a little white cigarette stick in our hand. I'm sorry. We should have. Oh, there you go.
There you go.
My pen is
Okay.
mightier.
Yes.
Dang.
Oh, hang on.
The selenium wand count?
I always
I wouldn't put that in your mouth.
Well, I don't know. My word of the day is Necrocomicon, Richard-Lael. I'll never say it right again, because I want to say Necrocomicon forever and ever and ever.
I always feel like I have a responsibility to the children. So I do not like to encourage bad habits such as smoking. So I can't even pretend, because of my very strict moral code that I have.
It was really weird to see that much smoking in a movie, because so much of that has been cut out. And it was like, everybody used to smoke in movies, and then there was a period where only the bad guy smoked, and then nobody smoked.
Now you know that it's the bad guy when they're smoking. It's every time. Yeah.
And they only show it when it's a period film. They'll add it in now. I see it when it's a film from that period, and it makes sense. I've seen it too.
Yeah.
Unless it's an HBO show, and then everyone smokes again. I don't know. I think that they're getting checks from RJR Reynolds or something.
When I lived in Hollywood, I did background a lot, and I can't remember the name of the film, but we were over at it was Pickfair is gone, but it was Douglas Fairbanks Senior's house. Beautiful. The rug was $1 million rug. I'm not even kidding. It was $1 million rug, and we were all. It was 1968, and we were all smoking. We had the strawberry tips. They were real cigarettes, but they were strawberry tips, so they weren't really.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Don't you dare get any ash on that rug. Don't you? It's $1 million rug. Don't get any ash on that rug." So we didn't, I guess, but we were all puffing away.
Yeah. Now I wonder now, because again, you're right. Now the bad guys, then the nobody. So when they're doing films back to our modern times, is every character going to have a cell phone in their hands forever and ever and ever?
Yes,
Probably.
Yes.
most
Yes.
likely. It's a good point.
It's a good point because you don't see that. They did not get that right about future. They got the Apple Watch correctly, way back
Yeah.
when. But they didn't get this. They didn't get this, that we have this in our hand at all times.
Well, there's an advert from 1932 that has these people sitting at a table in a cafe, and they have a mobile phone that looks somewhat like this, and it has the earpiece that's attached, but it has this picture in front so that you can see who you're talking to.
Huh.
1932. I mean, it's a little clunkier compared to today, but that was 1932.
I will say, when I was in 7th grade, we read a short story in our literature class where everyone had a book, but a book was just a little handheld device. And the whole story was about these kids were playing in their great grandma's attic, and they found actual books and didn't know what to do with the actual books. And what do you do when you finish it? And it was weird for me when Kindles came out, because I was like, it's the sci-fi story. It's happening.
That's wild. Does anybody know? We had from Lisa Parker. Did the rune note at the diner actually spell out to bring a fire, a monster, or just gibberish?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I wasn't paying close enough
I
attention.
think it was just gibberish, or it was
letters.
Yeah, it was sort of letters. It was like he was starting to write. So I thought he was going to write Fnord, and I thought it was a Discordian thing, and I got very excited for a second. But I think it was just sort of a random, made-up little alphabet. I don't think it was an actual.
But whatever. But good question. Thank you, Lisa. All right, Mr. Mankey, do we have a Mankey movie moment?
Yeah, we might, kind of. It's been a day, so I apologize in advance for this one. It's 2 p.m. Pacific time, and time is running out for me to catch this week's Movie Coven flick. I scroll through my Coven messages and see a graphic for what I think is this week's movie. I've been waiting for you? I wonder where it might be streaming, but then I remember I saw Patti somewhere in our chat saying, it's on Amazon Prime. I've been around the block a few times, and I know that I can always count on a good-looking blonde dame to steer me in the right direction. I type I've been waiting for you into the search bar and wait for some positive results. I swish the bourbon in my glass and wonder where I put my fedora last. The results finally circle up. Would I like to instead watch The Hitcher 2? I'll be waiting. That sounds like something Southern Belle Heather Greene might suggest we watch. I can hear her in my head saying, the Hitcher is a warlock, Jason, and this came at the end of the Satanic Panic. But I know the Hitcher isn't our movie this week. I've been waiting for you, but no dice. I've struck out like a down on his luck ball player in the bottom of the ninth. I scroll up again. Heather says the movie is called To Cast a Deadly Spell. I plug away again into Prime and find out that I can subscribe to Passion Flicks and watch You Cast a Spell on Me. I file that away knowing that next Valentine's Day I'll probably be exposed to that horror. What is this movie called? This case is proving tough to crack. I scroll up to see what that chap Richard-Lael had to say about it, but I'm met with silence. RL, as we don't call him in the biz, is almost always a step ahead of the rest of us and knows what to actually watch and what to ignore. I'm guessing that he's taking another case this week and has wisely bowed out of this rigmarole. Oh, I know he'll show up when the time is right and be there with an explanation for what no mortal eyes should see. But he'll get there in a way that doesn't require him to waste 95 minutes of his day. I'm getting desperate now. I've only got 3.5 hours left to watch this movie and write my piece of noir joke fiction. Though I know she'll hex me, I wonder what that scared and alone little enchantress Courtney Buckley thinks this movie is called. But it's a bad roll of the dice on my end. Courtney has completely bowed out of the show and doesn't give a flying sack of monkeys what tonight's movie is called. You can't replace a Buckley, but we'll try anyways, though our rabbit blacksmith man has been locked out of our ongoing conversation, so he'll be of absolutely zero help. Time is running out, and I'm about ready to cast my own spell to see if I can find this film. And then I see it. cast a deadly spell and not to cast a deadly spell. My third grade teacher always said that prepositions would be the end of me, and she was nearly right.
Well done. Jason, the only thing that could have made that better is if you called a random woman a tomato.
Whoa, is that a thing?
That was, yeah, throughout the show. They're like, yeah, she's a ripe tomato. Like the whole movie.
That was beautiful, Jason.
I thought that our other producer, Christine, that tomato, could have helped me out in this film, but
There you go.
nothing.
Two thumbs way up.
Instead it's when did you speak at Llewellyn Con? Well, I'm already done. Isn't that hard to read time? That wasn't Christine, though. That was Rob. Oh, Rob.
All righty. Well, everybody, I hope you have a feel for the movie and all sorts of nows, because we have one thing to do, and that is vote. Wands up, wands down for Cast a Deadly Spell.
I think I'll hang up on this one.
Beautiful.
Okay, let's try to decipher this. I am a 3/4 raised with a little bit of a wiggle. This is the Heather wiggle now after last week with the Heather wiggle. But it's more than halfway wiggle because of what I do like. So explain yours, Heather.
I didn't mind it.
Okay, great. Jason, looks like it's a halfway there. Thumper, that's an up.
It is an up. I liked it. Even with all my various complaints about it, overall, I did really like it.
And your telephone, Richard-Lael?
I hung up on it, but I actually did enjoy the film. I have to say.
A one's up. So, okay, we're neutral. We've got 2 ups and 3 neutrals, and my neutral is towards up. So let's see what you guys say in the chat room. We've got a neutral from Tabitha. We got a way down from C.A. Burnett. Another neutral from Robert, up from Marty, middle so this is a very middle of the road film, isn't it? Wands up because I like making fun of things. Mary Jane, we love you, Mary Jane. Wands down to a movie that should be cast into something deadly. Okay. All right. So this is probably not our most popular film ever, but it sure was fun talking about it. What are we going to do next week, Heather?
We are going to do Sinners next week. The new film.
Ooh, new film, brand new film. I can't wait to see it. It's still in theaters and it's also on streaming now, correct? Yep. So go find Sinners. Can't wait to talk about this one. So,
unless we watch that film to cast a deadly spell.
The straight to video version. It's out there somewhere. Jason will find it. I believe in him.
No. Way half. I like that. Halfway. Oh, I thought I was reading it. I was reading it dyslexically. Ooh, Sinners. Yes, Sinners. So everybody watch Sinners this next week. Does anybody have anything coming up that they want to talk about? Heather.
Yeah, well, I'll just start. We are getting marching, it feels like, closer and closer to Mystic South. Mystic South is going to be the 11th, 12th, and 13th weekend in July. We're only about 4 weeks out now. In fact, it starts 1 month from now. And I'm really excited. I'm going to be presenting the Hollywood Grimoire, the spells that don't work but are fun. I'm going to be talking about that and also doing some other things. I'm on the board, so I'll probably be running around. And I look forward to seeing some of our coven mates showing up. I know some are going to be there, but come on, join us in Atlanta in mid-July for hundreds of your closest witchy friends. So that Thumper, are you coming this year?
I am not going to be there this year.
You're not going to. You were there last year, Jason.
I was there. Yeah.
Hopefully you guys will all come next year.
I'm planning ahead for next year. I'm taking this year kind of off, and then next year is my world tour.
Next year, me too.
Yes.
Thumper's on tour.
Please come with me and just introduce me like that. That would make my heart sing.
Yeah. Gentlemen and dames, here he is. Thumper Forge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
right
that pleases
there.
me. Oh, that makes me
Yep.
happy.
Like
So,
a rabbit bouncing out of his hole. It's Thumper Forge.
I have got this weekend, I'm going to be doing Llewellyn Con at 11 a.m. Pacific, 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock the other Eastern. So check it out. Go to llewellyncon.com and it's free. And don't wait till now. It's going on now. I mean, don't wait till Saturday. Come see me Saturday, but every single day is amazing authors doing workshops for free for everybody. llewellyncon.com. Check it out. The week after that, I'm going to be at Creep It Real Festival in Loretta, Pennsylvania, at a haunted place called the Doss House. I hear it's fabulous. And of course, please, you can now order my book, Dollcraft, with a fabulous introduction by the one and only Heather Greene, my fellow doll enthusiast like me, that I can't wait till we start having, touring with our haunted doll tea parties across the world.
I'm ready.
I am so ready. So check this out, everybody. And then that's it. So come back next week. Check out University Magicus, where you can see me teaching things and Richard-Lael.
Jason has something.
Okay, go.
Ooh.
Next week, I will be at the Buckland Museum of Witchcraft and Magic in Cleveland, Ohio, to talk about the new book that you're all tired of hearing about, my biography of Raymond Buckland. And then the Friday after that, which is on the 27th of June, I will be at Crazy Wisdom in Ann Arbor. Always a dream as a former Michigan person to speak at that bookstore. Again, talking about my book, High Priest Raymond Buckland. And I was at Llewellyn Con today, so if you have a time turner, you can go backwards and watch it live, or you can just watch it on YouTube.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Richard?
I do. I will be in Scotland next year. Tracelesstours.com/sacred tours. That would be where you'd find me. Also, I'm here in New Orleans, where I do readings. I do seances here in my fabulous parlor. You can find me. I'm really easy to find. University Magicus. I'll be covering for you a little bit coming up.
Yes, next month. I'm taking a few weeks off to refresh. I will come back youthful, healthy, and hopefully not scary looking. So
Are you actually taking a vacation, Patti?
In a sense, yes, I'm actually taking a vacation.
Because just looking at your schedule makes me so tired. If anybody deserves a vacation, it is you.
Thank you. Yes, I don't. Somebody wants me to do something towards the end of July, and I don't think I'm going to do it. I don't think I'm going to be audience ready yet. So I'm going to probably my first week will be great. By the second week, I'm going to be, give me a plane, give me a car, give me a bus, give me anything. Because if I'm home, then I'd have to do things like laundry. I don't want to go there. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do laundry and things like that. I don't want to go home. I want to get on that train right now. Okay. Anybody else? Thumper.
I don't have many details yet, but in September I'm part of an online conference, an online divination conference, and I'll be teaching a course on lissomantic divination. At some point in September, I will come back and give details on that. And then on November 10th, I will be in Cleveland at a bookshop called October's for the launch of the Chaos Apple. And at some point, I will run down to the Buckland Museum as well.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Okay. We have one thing left to do. It is 1 minute to do it. Now, if we could do it.
You'll laugh for a minute. I love it.
Can we tackle for a minute?
I got to get both goats for this one.
I'm bringing the here. Behind the fan.
Noir
I'm going
style. Go
to
for
tackle
it.
prettily behind the fan.
Okay. 1, 2, and 3.
See?